Mr. Chairman.
John Naylor.
I move that the question be now put.
No, this bill has not been to a select committee, and it's a very serious bill, and therefore I think all latitude will be taken at this stage of it.
Mr. Chairman.
Adrian Rurafei.
Oh, you were doing well before,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaking to the title of this bill, sir, in the title of the bill, it has the word flexible purchasing. I just want to say that when you have a purchaser, you also have a seller. And the seller in this instance is the government, is the state. So I think that instead of having the word purchasing, the name of this bill ought to be Social Housing Reform, Transfer of State Assets Bill. Or the sale of state assets. And by the government not using the word sale and using the word purchasing instead, it gives a different slant from the public perception, I believe. Over the last few years, we have had a number of debates about the sale of state assets. Changing the terminology now, in this instance, to have a bill that talks about flexible purchasing does not address the issue that this is a mechanism, a provision for the government to be able to sell state assets. And the general public ought to have the opportunity to have their input, and they have not had the input in this instance. And so, sir, I stand here to suggest that the name of this bill should be changed, and that an act of parliament, if this bill is passed, should actually be Social Housing Reform, the Transfer of State Assets Bill. I could equally say, sir, that it is the transfer of social housing responsibility as well.
That's right.
Because the transfer of these houses to non-government organisations, to property developers, also hands over the responsibility of social housing to those agencies, and that's not right. It's not right because under the intent of what social housing was meant to be all about, helping those families who are most in need. One of the things that I'm really concerned about is the length of time. Once these transactions are made, at what stage does the responsibility of social housing afforded to the non-government organisations last for? Is it 1 year, 2 years? After 2 years, they can stop their responsibility of providing those houses as social houses, and then sell them on the open market. They know at prices that no doubt those people who occupy those homes will not be able to afford. That's a big concern for me, because then at that point they stop being social houses. In this bill, we don't know when that will be, because it is entirely up to the minister's discretion as to how and when that would happen, if at all. And we just don't know. These are the kinds of things that could be fleshed out in an open process like the Select Committee process, where people have the opportunity to come and have their say on this particular issue. So, sir, the title bears little resemblance, in my opinion, to what the final outcome and effect of this bill would be in social housing, sir. And so my suggestion is that the government, the minister, should reassess this particular issue. And I agree with the sentiments that other contributors have made to the House on this particular matter, the title of the bill. It does not, I believe, give a fair reflection of the content of the bill itself. So one other issue, and that is around Māori housing. And I've read this very carefully, and there's nothing in here that suggests to me that there's any way that the government is upholding its treaty obligations and providing and addressing the...